back, relax, and maybe get yourself a snack. Me and you gonna have a little chat about books. Hey guys, so I'm here today to talk to you about some anticipated releases. I'm going to be dividing my anticipated releases up into about 4 or 5 videos. So if you haven't seen my January to February video, click the link below and you can go watch that first. These books are going to be my March into early April video because there's quite a lot in these months. So let's get started. As always, I'm going to tell you the release date in the UK according to Amazon, but this may be subject to change depending on publishing schedules and all sorts of other factors. Let's get started. The first book I have to talk to you guys about is The Migration, which is by Helen Marshall. Now, I've never really heard of this author, but this book, when I saw it on some other people's anticipated releases, piqued my interest. So this is a story that focuses on Sophie and her sister. Sophie is a young girl. She lives with her mother and father, as does her sister, until the world really starts to go completely mad. There are reports of a mysterious illness, and at first the girls are unaffected, but then her sister seems to start having symptoms of this mysterious illness, so they are sent away to live with their aunt, who is a professor who studies the Black Death, and her aunt is helpful in kind of trying to work out what is going on with the current disease, which is ravaging the nation. And it seems like the problem is that people are dying, but they're not staying dead. And it sounds quite heartbreaking as well, because it's obviously related to Sophie's sister, so I'm definitely intrigued about this one. I believe that the author has written previous short story collections, but I'm not sure if this is her first debut novel. I'd be interested if any of you guys know to let me know. The next book I have is The Everlasting Rose. This is the sequel to The Bells by Donnell Clayton. I really enjoyed The Bells. It's one of those books where you can just sit down and sink your teeth into it. It's a YA story and it focuses on the idea of beauty ideals and what people in the press may make young girls think. So it's a really fascinating story. It deals a lot with the beauty standards and the beauty world, and I think it's really fascinating for teenage girls to read a book like this. So I really enjoyed it, and I'm super excited to see where the next one goes because the story was just fun as well. So the next one I have is an anthology collection, and this is called New Sons, original speculative fiction by people of colour, and it's been edited together by Nisi Shul. So honestly, I don't know most of the authors who are writing for this collection, but the fact that it is written by people of colour and it's speculative fiction is something I think should be celebrated, and I'm definitely keen to pick a copy up and try it. Some of the authors who are included, in case you guys know them, are Kathleen Alcala, Min Soo Kang, Stephen Barnes, E. Lily Yu, and many, many more. So as I say, I don't know any of these authors, but I'm definitely interested to read some of their work. I believe some of them are fairly established authors, and then others are fairly new onto the scene and they're just coming out with new fiction. So I'm very excited to give this a try and see what emerges from this. Coming out on the 19th of March is a short story collection by one author, and this is by Sarah Pinsker. I believe they are all speculative fiction stories. Most of them have been actually released in magazines previously, but I've not read many of them. I think I might have read one of her stories before in something like Clark's World, but I can't remember where or what it was. I just seem to remember her name, and I've heard good things about her in general, so I would like to check this short story collection out, and it's got pretty good reviews so far from the advanced reader copies, it sounds like. I also love the cover, and this one comes out on the 19th of March. The next one I have is a new one coming out from Cameron Hurley, and I believe this is a standalone. It's called The Light Brigade, and this one also comes out on the 19th of March. This one focuses on a war that is ongoing against Mars, I believe, and we follow soldiers who are fighting in this war, but some of them, when they get transported through light technology, actually come back quite different, and they're kind of referred to as the Light Brigade. So this sounds pretty interesting. I've liked some of Cameron Hurley's works before, and I've found some too weird for me, so I'm interested to see which way this one will go, but I'm definitely willing to give it a try. Next up I have, I think, the final book in a trilogy, and this book is one I've been waiting for quite a long time. It's called The Sun's Domain, and it's by Rebecca Levine. I think the second one came out quite a few years ago now, and I've been very much looking forward to what happens next. This is set in a world where people travel around the world or else they'll get killed by shadows in the night, and it follows quite a few different cultures and quite a few different people from these cultures, and their lives all end up kind of mingling together as time goes on, but they're all very different. And I remember one of the characters in this book is one of my favourites characters. He's just so sweet and caring, and lovable, and I can't help but wonder what happens to him. So I'm really excited for this book to finally come out. It's one I have been waiting on for ages, and I really love the series, so I'm very excited. Next up, I have another third one in a series, although this is a quartet, and this is Hearts of Ice by David Hare. This is the new book coming out from his Sun Surge Quartet series, and this one follows on from the Moontide Quartet series, so this by now is sort of the 7th book in the overall series, I suppose. I really like this series. The first book I didn't think was that strong, but the second one definitely got better, and I feel like the third and fourth will probably be even stronger if the Moontide Quartet is anything to judge by, because that's what happened with those books. So I'm really keen to check this one out and continue reading the series. Obviously I can't tell you much about it because spoilers, but you can find my reviews for the first few in this series if you want to look up the Moontide Quartet or the Sun Surge Quartet on my channel, because they're all there, so definitely check them out. Yeah, loads of these books I have loved. The first series was one of my all-time favourite series, and I hope that this series will quickly become that, with the final 2 coming out this year and hopefully in the next year or 2. So yeah, very excited for the release of this one. The next book is one that I've seen on quite a few lists around sort of for anticipated releases, and this is written by Joan He. It is called Descendant of the Crane, and I believe this is a Chinese-inspired fantasy. This book focuses on a young woman who is in training to be the princess, but she tries at every opportunity to shirk her responsibility and not have to deal with the kingdom that is in a bit of disarray. However, when her father is murdered, she ends up taking power and control of a kingdom that is in quite a mess, and she is also grieving and determined to find retribution for her father. So she engages the help of a soothsayer, which is highly illegal because magic in this country was outlawed hundreds of years ago. And with the information she gains from this soothsayer, she then elicits help from a criminal to try and uncover what had really happened with her father and what is going on in her empire. So it sounds pretty interesting to me. I love Chinese and Asian inspired fantasy, so I'm really excited for this, and I will definitely let you guys know what I think of it when I get to it. The next book I have to talk to you guys about is one I've actually already read, and that is this one, Holy Sister by Mark Lawrence, and it is the 3rd and final book in this series by him. I loved this. I thought it was a perfect series ender. It's actually my favourite book in the entire series, and I'm really happy that everything ended how it did. I feel like a lot of the questions I had raised in previous books were answered, but there was still room for the world to grow, and I really, really enjoyed the whole concept of this series. We follow a young woman, or a young girl in the start, who is called Nonna, and she is in training to become a nun/assassin, which is basically why the first book is called Red Sister, then the second is called Grey Sister, and this one is Holy Sister. These are the different orders of the assassins/nuns in the Holy Convent. So yeah, she goes through each of the different trainings in each of the books, and in this one, not only is she in her last year of training, she's also trying to basically defend the world from the incoming invaders and see what she can do about the political goings-on that have been festering behind the scenes too. It's got a lot happening and it's so good. And the final one I have for this video is called A Memory Called Empire, and this is by Arkady Martine. I've never heard of this author, but the cover looks fantastic and the book sounds good, so I thought I'd add it to my list. It comes out also on the 4th of April. In this book, I believe we're following an ambassador who is called Mahit Desmar, something like that, and they are at the centre of the Texkalani Empire. However, when this ambassador gets there, they realise their predecessor has been murdered, and people are not talking about why or what happened, so this new ambassador has to investigate what went on, or else they have to risk them becoming the next accident to happen on the station. So it sounds like there is a lot of world building in this one. It's an alien culture that we're focused on, so I'm definitely keen to check that one out and see what happens. If you've heard anything about this author, let me know, but I've not really heard anything about her previously, so I'm definitely intrigued. So that is everything I have for this video. As I say, I will have more videos coming very soon, so look out for those, and let me know if I've missed anything between these dates that you guys are excited about, because I'd love to add that to my list. Tell me which one you're most excited about from my list. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon in a next video. Bye guys!
Thank you for watching my video today. Go pick up a book, then come back and chat with me again.